In this week's Parsha, Parshas Beha'alotcha, Moshe Rabbeinu breaks down. The Jewish people say, we don't want mud anymore. When we were in Egypt, we had fish, and we had onions, and we had garlic, and we had leeks, and we need meat. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, God, please kill me. I don't want to see my misfortune. Now this is Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest leader in our history. And he says, God, please take my life away. What pushed him to this level of despair? This is not the first time that the Jewish people complained about food. And you'd think that Moshe Rabbeinu would develop a thicker skin, maybe some resilience. But no, he seems to wear down and completely break down and unravel in this week's Parsha. So what's going on? So Jonathan Sacks says, there's a difference between technical leadership and adaptive leadership. Technical leadership is when someone is sick and you provide them with a pill. When there's a problem and the leader provides a solution. But adaptive leadership is when the leader has to inspire upon the person to change themselves. When you say, yes, you're sick and this pill may help. Well, you need to change your diet, you need to change your exercise, you need to change your stress levels and your sleeping patterns. That will only lead you to a healing. When Moshe Rabbeinu was taking the Jewish people out of Egypt, that was the time for technical leadership. They're enslaved. We're going to bring the 10 plagues, the 10 makos, and free them. We're going to split the sea. But now they're in Bamidbar. Now they're in the desert. And now it's time for them not just to be passive recipients of God's blessings, but now to be co-creators, to build themselves, to be able to change and to grow and to adapt and to take charge and go into the land of Israel and to create a place where God could dwell. But they were not ready. And that's a tragedy of this week's Parsha. Moshe Rabbeinu falls down and says, God, I don't want to see my misfortune because I know that the Jewish people still have the slave mentality. They saw the revelation at Mount Sinai. They literally received the Torah. They heard God say, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the Lord your God. They heard God's voice and they're still acting like this. They're still complaining about the food. Now God says, don't worry, I'm going to have you have 70 elders that are going to take the burden off your shoulders somewhat. But what this reveals to us is the tragedy that Moshe Rabbeinu knew too well, that the Jewish people needed to adapt and they weren't. And ultimately, they died out in the desert and a new generation was born and they were the ones that went to Israel, that generation that didn't have a slave mentality. What we can learn from this is that there are moments of technical leadership. There are moments when, yes, you have to just solve the problem. But the highest level that we want to ascertain is when you can inspire someone to change themselves, because that has nitzchias, that can last. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu saw, tragically, the Jewish people lacked. And that's why he had this breakdown. Shabbat Shalom.